back to this week's Real Estate Producer Show. I'm Kara, and I'm here with Linda Wells from Remax Nexus and Nicole and Alexandria from Hall Financial. Welcome, everyone.
Hi.
Hello. So we're so excited to have you on to not only talk about all things real estate and what's happening in the market, but also your work in the community as well. So we'll dive more into it later and get there. But first, how did you get into real estate?
I spent 23 years in the automotive industry, always wanting to get into real estate, but didn't want the nights and the weekends. And one day I decided it was time for a change, and just decided to say bye-bye, took my classes and dove right in.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Well, that's quite the jump, especially after 23 years. So that's awesome. And what is something, like what's the specialty that you have within the market?
So I'm heavily weighted on the listing side, although I work with buyers and with sellers, kind of like specializing in the Lakes area, which is where I live, but cover pretty much all of Oakland County. A little bit of Genesee and Livingston, because I live out in that White Lake area. But buyers, sellers, I love working with seniors. I work with investors, pretty much cover the whole spectrum.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Well, thank you for that.
So, Linda, with since you specialize in the Lakes area, are there different things that you have to go over with buyers and sellers, since you're heavy in listings, to prepare them to list their home or to buy a home? Are there different things, just, instead of a different, in a suburb, is there more that you have to tell them to prepare for a home on the lakes?
A little bit.
You've
got the lakefront, you've got seawalls, you've got, is it a sandy beach? Is it mucky? I like to tell people, do your due diligence on the lake you're moving to, because they're all very different. Some are spring fed, some have weed issues, some are crystal clear and deep and are great for fishing. So depending on what that person is looking for, they need to really dive in and look at the lakes that make sense for them.
No pun intended. You're not actually diving in. That's not necessary. and for a second, I thought you were going to throw a flag on the play, but I think you answered it correctly.
Flag on the play. It'll come in. It'll come into play. So, what about inspections? Are there more inspections that have to happen around the lakes?
Not necessarily. It's still all about the house. We can't control the property or the lake. It's pretty much the same. Sometimes we have a higher water level, so we pay particular attention if there's a basement or if it's in a crawl space. But other than that, it's more due diligence on the lake itself.
And what about appraisers? Do they have to kind of go outside of the lake area because appraisals are tricky, so prices are going up. So do our appraisers, do they have to go outside of that area?
It is tricky because you can't compare you can't compare an Orchard Lake or a Union Lake to Round Lake, for example, or Cooley Lake, smaller lakes, or man-made lakes. So right now we have a lot of comps. There's a lot of houses in turnover, but if there weren't a lot of comps, they go out a little further to find a more similar lake, just like they would in an urban property where they need to find a more similar home.
And are prices still going up?
They are. We're seeing them level. They're going to slowly level off, but they're still increasing. It's still a seller's market. We still have a shortage of homes. And we see it continuing that way throughout 2022 for sure. And it'll slow down a little bit with the interest rates.
Thank you for providing that. Moving into your efforts within the community, I know you're passionate about it, and I absolutely love that about you. We often say people aren't just buying a house, they're truly buying into the community. So tell us how you got involved. What makes you really tick? You work in that area, you live in there, you're involved within the Children's Miracle Network. Tell us a little more.
So one of the first things I did was join the Chamber of Commerce out there. And it's a great way to get involved in the community, the local businesses, get your clients to understand what makes that community tick. So that's really important. And then when I joined Remax from a private independent brokerage, I went to a kickoff meeting and they started talking about how they'd like an ambassador for Children's Miracle Network in each one of our brokerages. And that really spoke to me. I've just been passionate about kids for a long, long time. I joke that I maybe should have been a kindergarten teacher, Now I know better. I couldn't do that. And God bless them. That's how it all started. And there was really no champion in our office. So my function there is to get other agents in the office to think about donating with each closing, which is what I do. And also I head up our fundraising. And the cool thing about what we do, we're part of Remax Southeastern Michigan, which is a small independent brokerage. There's about 1,000 of us. And rather than the funds we raise going to corporate and we never know where they go, they stay right here in the local community, and they go to the children's Remax Communication Preschool at Beaumont Hospital, and it's for kids with speech and language difficulties. And we get to meet the kids and the parents and see their progress, and it's just so great to be part of that.
Yeah, that's so amazing, and it definitely warms my heart too, to hear, like Alexandria said, that you're not just selling the homes, but you're selling the communities, and you're not just selling the communities and leaving it at that, but you're actually a part of it and contributing so much to it as well. So something I want to ask you is, you mentioned donating at closing. Can you kind of explain what that means?
So they have a thing called an honor card, and they're like a little note card that's designed by the kids at the preschool, and they pick a different design every year, and another one at Christmas that's more Christmas themed. And we can either make a flat donation, or what I do, you can buy an honor card. There's a minimum amount to buy the honor card, but it can be any amount above that. And then it gets sent to our clients saying that Linda Wells has donated on your behalf to Children's Miracle Network. Thanks for making a difference in the community.
That's awesome.
That's so sweet. Yeah, that's awesome.
And Linda, Hall Financial was lucky enough to help you with your Children's Miracle Network event last year. And here's a picture that we have of you and your team. I think it was a Top Golf event, which was amazing. And your team raised over $50,000 for the Children's Miracle Network. It's so great. And so tell us how, what gets in, what are you in, like, how do you get everything and people involved in this? And also, what are your goals for next year for the Children's Miracle Network?
So we're going to do the Top Golf event again. We were so grateful to have Hall involved in that. We broke all the records for the biggest fundraiser that we've done yet.
That's so awesome.
Usually it's a regular golf outing, but I got to tell you, this one was every bit as much work. And thanks to our sponsors and all the people that donated, we had a silent auction. We had raffles. It was just a ton of fun, and each year it gets a little larger. Everyone, initially people said, "I don't golf, I'm not going to come to this," but the people that came tell their friends, and this year we had the entire second floor, and we went from, I think we had 75 people last year. This year we had over 200. So we plan on doing it again. As a matter of fact, I just sent a message to our broker about let's pick a date and get going and start getting our sponsorships and donations in again. So,
well, yeah,
we're
absolutely. In. Yeah, I was going to say we're in.
Awesome. Thank you.
I have one more question for you. So, you obviously have a big heart, and you do all these great things with the Children's Miracle Network. It's a tough market right now. We just looked up some stats. In the month of January, there were in Oakland County, there were 1,032 homes for sale, and there's over 5,000 buyers that are in the market. So how do you keep people interested in finding that home, and how do you get them ready for the process?
I always tell them it's not going to be a normal offer. If the house is nice, if it's been on the market, if it just came on the market and it's a nice house, prepare yourself to think outside of the box on these offers. Everyone's doing appraisal gap guarantees, and I never, ever recommend waiving inspections, but I see people doing that out there, large earnest money deposits. But now we're starting to think outside of the box and perhaps pay some of the seller's costs, pay for their title insurance or their transfer tax, or maybe the inspection is a pass-fail, so they know they're not going to get picked apart later on. I had an agent tell me recently what they're doing is they're offering a bonus to the seller for immediate acceptance. That's the first time I've heard that one.
Wow.
So we're just thinking outside the box and sharing our ideas, and we put our best foot forward. A challenge right now, I think, sometimes for the first-time home buyers is to pull them back because they don't want to lose, and we don't want them to start with negative equity and be
Right.
stuck in a house. So it's kind of a moving target, and there are a lot of people that are balancing acts between, do I sell my house and what if I don't find one, or I'm not going to list my house until I find another. You just have to know how to balance it and work the dates and negotiate to give that seller what they need.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you said something key there. You said think outside the box, and I think that's huge. And definitely using a lender like Hall Financial can help not only the realtor think outside the box, but it's definitely that team effort there, but also the buyer as well. So having great communication with the lender and the realtor is huge. I think that there's a misconception that unless you're cash, you're not getting a house, but exactly like you said, with a realtor's expertise like yourself and using a resource like Hall Financial, there's offers that are still being accepted every single day. So I think that's huge, and love that term, thinking outside the box. That's awesome.
Well, another thing that I've noticed is a lot of sellers with their agents will look at who you're lending with, and they want a local lender. And they
Yeah.
want a lender that's well-known, and they want a verified approval. And all those things are making a difference now.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much. Do you ladies have any other questions?
Good, thank you.
All right,
Thanks
well,
for
thank
sharing
you so much. And like we
everything.
said, we so appreciate your effort within working with Hall Financial, but also in the community. It really is so inspiring, and we really appreciate everything that you do. So thank you for coming on. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe.
Thanks, Linda.